Ambry, you gonna catch the Dodger game tonight?
I don't know. With USC heading to South Bend this weekend, I can barely get my mind off of rivalry week.
Well, either way, sports scene
starts now.
Welcome back to another episode of Sports Scene. I'm Jalen Woodward.
And I'm Kimberly Guest. USC quarterback Kedon Slovis is cleared to return this week and will start against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Slovis has been out since September 20th due to a concussion from their match against Utah. The true freshman went 60 for 77 with 732 yards and received Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week in Week 2.
Now, Slovis,
I think the biggest thing is just getting my legs back and you know, I mean, and a quarterback, it seems pretty easy. You're taking a three-step drop, but I think a big part of it is getting your feet in position to throw. And when you're not practicing for a week, I think you lose that a little bit. So I think just getting my feet back under me and getting back to where I want to be.
Off a well-rested bye week, the Trojans are looking to rebound in South Bend after falling 14-28 against the Washington Huskies.
The 9th-ranked Irish handedly defeated Bowling Green 52-0 last week, improving their record to 4-1. The Notre Dame defensive power will be a tough challenge in all respects for USC, but Coach Helton's main focus is protecting Slovis in the pocket.
And then defensively, probably two of the more dynamic defensive ends that we'll face all year in their crew. They cause havoc in the backfield, and I think one of the biggest things for us will be protecting the quarterback.
Here to help us break down rivalry week for the Trojans, we welcome our football analysts here at Annenberg, Tyler Miley and Daniel Quinn. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Hello there.
All right, so guys, I first have to ask you, will the Trojans be at a disadvantage coming off a bye week, or do you think this will be a major setback for the Trojans?
We're a young team. We're going into South Bend. It's a hostile environment with the inexperienced QB. I think we're going to be a major disadvantage this Saturday.
And I think with Notre Dame on a 14 home game winning streak, that's going to give them an advantage over SC, where they just had a break from the bye week.
I mean, even without taking a break, USC would still be coming off a loss. So it's really going to be this 52-0 and 14 winning streak versus time off, a concussion to our QB, and a loss leading up before that.
So guys, will Notre Dame be able to contain the high-powered USC offense?
I think they're going to do it really effectively. They have a high-powered defense in the backfield, especially also downfield. The SC's biggest issue right now is, can they protect Kedon Slovis?
I completely agree with Tyler. Notre Dame has one of the biggest turnover ratios in the country.
They're ranked second in turnover, exactly.
Plus USC's coming in again with an inexperienced quarterback. It's going to be a flat-out bashing out there.
And I think just with USC's air raid offense, I mean, Notre Dame's held all the other teams to 3 touchdowns, allowing through the air all season long. And so, I mean, they held Bowling Green to 3.3 yards per play last week. So it's really just going to be a matter of Trojans will not be able to move the ball.
You know, you guys all bring up great points, but I'm going to have to ask you, will the Fighting Irish be able to make history and beat USC for 3 times in a row? And what would this loss mean for Coach Helton?
I think Notre Dame is at the advantage of this game, and I don't want to discredit what the Trojan offense has. When you look at the numbers, they're neck and neck, but when you look at the talent that Notre Dame has on both sides of the ball, they have a great receiving core, so that's going to put them up.
You have to look at the optics. We're on the road, South Bend, Brian Kelly, Clay Helton, we're outcoached. Notre Dame's going to win this game, and Helton's seat gets only warmer from here.
It gets hotter, but I don't think anybody's looking for him to get an easy win against Notre Dame either. I think if he loses the week in Colorado, that's going to be the issue.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's much doubt that USC is going to have a challenge, especially against Notre Dame's defense. Personally, I don't think the Trojans will be able to pull out a win on the road this week, but I don't think anyone is sitting here expecting, oh, Helton better show out or this is it for him. This is going to be a difficult game regardless of who Notre Dame is playing.
I think this just complicates it no matter what. You know, whether they lose or not, everyone knows that his job is in the hot seat. But if they win, it just gets everyone more confused of, I don't know, where do we stand on Coach Helton? And as I've said on previous shows before, I really truly believe that he will not be going anywhere until a new AD comes in, and that's still even questionable then. I mean,
I don't think he will, and the thing is, I don't see them firing him mid-season. So they're going to look at his season in the entirety and make a decision following this season. But again, back to this Notre Dame game, I don't think this is going to change it. Obviously, the people saying fire Helton, they're going to keep saying it. They're going to keep sitting at home thinking this. The thing is, this is a tough game. Notre Dame is ranked 9th nationally, and then they go on this 3-game streak that's not going to be any easier. They play Oregon, who's also ranked nationally. They still have to face ASU, who's ranked nationally, and then they play Colorado at Colorado, but that's what I'm saying. That's the game that SC needs to win on the road, so that way they don't keep looking at SC saying, well, they're never going to win on the road.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Now we're going to send it over. That's for football today. Let's check in with Annalisa with soccer.
The number 4 USC's women's soccer team will have a tough weekend ahead at McAllister Field with the Mountain Schools on USC's agenda. The team opens up with Utah tomorrow. The Utes are currently 1-0-2 in Pac-12 play, coming off a win against Oregon this past weekend. A stat USC should feel comfortable with is a double overtime tie between Utah and Arizona State. This past weekend, USC beat Arizona State in the final minute. Utah has only scored 13 goals this season compared to USC's 26. The advantage here for the Trojans, Utah struggles on the road as their only loss came from when they were away. The Utes don't have a consistently outstanding player, but defensively, Utah is strong and will cause problems for USC stars Tara McCune and Penelope Hawking. Head coach Kedon McAlpine has definitely taken notice to Utah's strong defense.
Utah's a difficult team to play. They always do a great job in defending against us and cause us problems. So what we've tried to do is use the 2 Arizona games to kind of build some momentum in our possession and in the way that we want to play. And I thought we did a great job in both the Arizona State game and in the first half against Arizona. I thought our possession was much better.
The women of Troy also play Colorado on Sunday. Kickoff for the game tomorrow against Utah is at 3 p.m. at McAllister Field. Earlier today, senior midfielder Jalen Woodward sat down to talk to our very own Dylan Schloss about her journey as a Trojan.
We are currently joined right now with senior midfielder Jalen Woodward. Jalen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Jalen, I have to ask you, you started off, this is going to be your senior and I'm assuming your final season. With the team starting out 9-1-1, what stands out differently about this team compared to teams in the past years?
I think that this team is really special for a number of reasons, and I think that one of the things that makes us that special is that there's a larger number of people contributing, and every single person is really playing their role to their full potential, and I think that ultimately makes us a better team because it takes every single person on any team to win and to be successful, and every single person owning their role and doing what they can in that role, and I think that that's what has made us successful so far.
So, speaking of success, this past road trip over to Arizona, you guys were able to take a couple of wins. What was the mindset heading into that big trip, especially against 2 pretty competitive teams in the Pac-12?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that was going to be a tough weekend. Those are both really good teams, and it's hard to go, travel, play on the road in the heat, no matter where you go and who you're playing against. But I think that one of the things we focused on was just being able to win gritty if that's what it took. And obviously, we like to play pretty soccer and knock it around and keep the ball. But when it comes down to it, it's about winning and finding ways to win games that might not be so pretty at certain times. So that was a part of our mindset this weekend.
So last month, I have to ask you, you had 1 point and 1 assist against one particular team that I'm sure you had a specific interest in, which is Seattle U, where you were able to play your mom's team. What made that so special with your mom being the head coach of the opposing team?
That was an unreal experience for me just because my mom has been there. I think this might be her 24th season, something like that, since before I was even born. So I basically grew up in and around her team, her community of Seattle U, and those people that she's worked with for so long. So I think that it was special, being able to be in that with her, like, even though we were on opposite sides of the field, but also just to have the support of my friends and my family getting to watch me play, especially in my senior season, because a lot of them haven't been able to see me play in person since I've been in college. So that was a really cool experience for me.
What happens next when you're done with USC? Where do you plan to go in terms of soccer or just overall in life after here at USC?
Yeah, so I've been asked that a lot recently. I think that's obviously the next step is thinking about that. My goal is to play professionally. I think that I'll declare for the NWSL draft and see what happens with that first and then kind of go from there. But also I've thought about and done some research into going back to school to get my MBA. I'm a business major and that's something that I'm interested in as well. I've done some internships at accounting firms, like smaller private accounting firms, and I don't necessarily know if accounting is the way I want to go, but I do have some experience in that. But definitely my education is still the priority, but playing professional is what I want to continue to do as long as I can.
All right, well, Jalen, thank you so much for coming on the show, and good luck this weekend against Utah.
The tennis team season may not start until January, but many Trojans have had individual success this fall playing in tournaments. The men so far have taken home 4 trophies, 3 in singles and 1 in doubles. The women have also taken home a title during the individual season. Joining me today to talk about tennis is our very own tennis expert, Nick Kaufman. Thanks so much for joining us, Nick.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about tennis finally.
Definitely. So let's start with the women's team. They have a great, phenomenal season this year. What's next for them? What do you think is next for them?
Well, it's going to be a bit of a struggle, I think, at the beginning, figuring out the lineup, because they did lose Rihanna Valdez, who is one half of the #1 ranked doubles team in the country. So that's going to be a tough spot to fill. But this is a young, exciting team to get excited about, especially young freshman coming in, Carson Brandstein. She's actually the doubles partner of the current U.S. Open champion. So you know she's a fantastic player. She's the #2 ranked freshman in the country. So look out for these young players.
So in addition to Carson, who do you think is going to be on the top list of players that we're going to have to watch out for?
I think you have to look once again at Selma Ewing. She was the top player in the lineup last year. Expect her to be the same this year. She has a very strong, powerful game. She had her ups and downs last year, but expect her to smooth out those lumps now that she's had a year to adjust to college tennis. So expect her to make a big jump, as well as Danielle Wilson, who went on an unbelievable win streak last season, and she really can provide depth at the lower end of the lineup. So expect this young core to really carry the team this year and make a big jump into their sophomore season.
Now, switching over the men. So what have people been saying about the team? What have you been hearing?
I've been hearing from everyone that this is one of the best men's tennis teams USC has ever fielded, and that their chance to win is right now. This team is national championship or bust. I expect them winning the national championship as well as the Pac-12 very easily this year.
And so, given that you're so hyped up about men's tennis, who has you most impressed during this preseason?
Brandon Holt, Moore Bullis, and Riley Smith are my 3 players to watch out for. Brandon's been playing pro tournaments over the summer, been doing really well at it. Moore Bullis, he just won a tournament a couple weeks ago in Milwaukee. And then Riley Smith, after a shaky close to the season last year, has played phenomenal tennis since the start of the summer, winning a tournament. He's also reached the finals in doubles as well as the semis at another tournament. So expect those 3 to really carry the team and lead them this year.
Well, that's all we have for tennis right now. Over on to Jillian with an update on women's volleyball. Jillian?
The USC women's volleyball team will head up to Boulder to face Colorado this Friday. Yesterday, I had the chance to catch up with senior middle blocker Jasmine Gross for this installment of Ask an Athlete. I'm Jillian Carroll for Annenberg Media, and I'm here with Jasmine Gross today, and we are going to do another installment of Ask an Athlete. So essentially, I'm going to ask you as many questions as I can in 60 seconds, and you just give me whatever comes to mind. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to start the timer, and here we go. What is your spirit animal?
A giraffe.
Amazing. What is your favorite sport besides volleyball?
Basketball.
Who is your funniest teammate?
Myself.
What is your go-to pump-up song?
Till I Collapse.
That's a good one. What is one food you can't live without?
Sushi.
I love sushi too. So what's the last movie you watched?
The Joker.
I need to see that, right? Yeah. So what is your favorite volleyball moment in the last year?
I think when we beat Washington this last weekend.
Awesome. Who is your celebrity crush?
Drake. I love you, Drake. You're watching this? I love you.
Instagram or Snapchat?
Snapchat.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
I'm lactose intolerant, so.
Me too.
So, but probably like cookie dough if it's vegan.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Looks like that's all the time we have for today, but thank you so much for joining us. This was super fun.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Of course. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you, Jillian and Jasmine, and I will join you for some vegan ice cream anytime, so just let me know. Now, here on Sports Scene, we've talked a lot about women's soccer's abilities on the field, but Dylan, did you know that these athletes are also becoming TikTok famous?
I don't know, but let's go check out now how the athletes are kicking it on and off the field.
What all do you want from me? ARs and them 2, 2, 3s, can't run with me.
Cambria,
Dylan, how fast do you think we can learn this and just join in?
We'll try that after the show.
Maybe next week. Maybe next week.
Maybe next week. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to this week's episode of Sports Scene. I'm Dylan Schloss.
And I'm Cambria Guest. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, maybe TikTok if we get that ready for next week, at Annenberg Media Sports. We'll see you next week.